Well, the Astros do it again. They pretty much bury the Rangers in a 3-game sweep. Justin Verlander looked great on the mound. Jose Abreu crushes baseballs. We're going to talk about this and what do we have to look forward to in their 6-game homestand coming up on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right, Brett, let's turn that frown upside down. The Astros just embarrassed the Rangers. This was an awesome series, and this was a great, after what the Yankees did to the Astros, you had to see something like this, and the Astros took care of business. And you know what? About taking care of business, have you subscribed to the Locked On Astros podcast yet? If you have not, there's that little red button down there. Just go and do that and go and give us a thumbs up while you're at it and become an everydayer, somebody that listens to our podcast every day. And go and listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you check out your podcasts. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. We really do appreciate it. We had 500 people live yesterday. Let's try to get to 500 again today. But this game was awesome. I mean, it started with the Alvarez home run off of Max Scherzer. This was supposed to be the pitcher's duel of the century. I think it was Nolan Ryan and Roger Clemens the last time that two pitchers with the career resume that these two guys were facing each other with. And we thought it was going to be a pitcher's duel, but it was not. And Jose Abreu, a lot of people have been saying this guy needs to be benched. He needs to be DFA'd. But Dusty Baker said, no, just wait. This guy has a player of the week type coming. And look what he did tonight. And then you have the offensive explosion that the Astros have been doing recently. This is just record setting what the Astros have been doing. Hopefully they can continue that at home. Home record has been kind of bad recently, but we'll talk about that later. And the Astros still maintain the lead in the AL West despite the Mariners winning. And I don't know if you heard, Brett, but the Rangers lost. So we'll have to talk about that as well. So welcome to another edition of Locked On Astros.
Yeah, what a great game. This game, like you said, got started off, on the right foot, putting a 2 spot, putting a crooked number in the first inning. You wondered if Max Scherzer was going to be on this game because Max Scherzer has actually pitched really well since coming over to the Rangers. He hasn't been on every game, but when he's been on, he has been absolutely shutting hitters down. And he was kind of the stopgap. He was the tourniquet to stop the bleeding in the Rangers organization. He was going to be that guy. And little did we know that the Astros would put up 7 runs in the first 3 innings of this baseball game. It is just astounding to see what the Astros have done. I wasn't going to say it at the beginning of this series if I felt like if we won the series, but after sweeping the Rangers, I don't see the Rangers recovering from this. This has got to be demoralizing. I mean, we didn't just beat them 4-2. Or 7-4 or 3-2. I mean, we beat the ever-living crap out of this team. And that ball club on the other side, even in the late inning when they were trying, they added like a solo shot in the 8th. You could just see Bruce Bochy's face. I haven't seen Bruce Bochy look that down all season long. And the reason why they brought him to the Rangers was because he's a winner, because he's won World Series championships. He's a Hall of Fame manager. And he's got a hell of a resume. But the Astros are just, what they're doing is next world stuff, is out of this world stuff. And for Abreu to do what he did was phenomenal. We'll get to that soon. But so the last time, so these aren't both 300 game winners, right? But the last time 300 game winners squared off against each other in an Astros uniform, I was there. It was Roger Clemens and Greg Maddux. They did it when Greg Maddux was still playing. It was the first time 300 game winners had gone against each other. And I remember that game. And you know who the manager for the Cubs was? Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker was the manager of the Cubs when it was Maddux versus Clemens. I will never forget that. So it's just, man, look, vintage Verlander, because Eric, I was at that game. You were at that game when Verlander was giving up those home runs. That was not fun to watch. 6 Ks, 7 innings, only 2 runs. One of them earned. Only gave up 1 home run today. Right. I like what I see out of Verlander. 11-7 on the season. Good job, guys.
And Max Scherzer has been a totally different pitcher since coming to the Rangers. He's actually dominated the Astros in his career. So for them to do what they did was amazing. I mean, when I say dominant, it's not just in the playoffs. It's just overall, he's just in his last 6 starts against the Astros, including the 2019 World Series, he's 4-0 with a 2.03 ERA. It's like a total reversal of roles. It was 7-1 before you knew it, and he exited in the 3rd inning. And yes, Justin Verlander has had a couple of those games since he's come back with the Houston Astros, granted, but this was the matchup that everybody was waiting for, and we finally got it. And this was depending on, we don't care if they're buddies or if they're really arch enemies or anything like that. This was a matchup of 2 Hall of Famers, and Justin Verlander and the Astros triumphed. They outscored the Rangers in this series 39-10. They out-hit them 50-22. They hit 16 home runs in 3 games, which hold on. Franchise record.
Say that again. They hit how many home runs?
16.
16. I didn't even realize that it was that many.
16 freaking home runs. Okay, so the Rangers announcers don't think that home runs are hits. So they hit the ballpark. They hit the ball out of the ballpark 16 times where the Rangers could not catch it. And so that's not fair.
If the Astros would just hit baseballs and give the opponent a chance to get them out, maybe they wouldn't get so many hits. Why? Because they get easy hits. Hey, real quick, I want to pause where we're at right now because I just kind of want to mention this. I want to send a shout out to Big City Cap Zone. My guy got me this hat. Look at this. This is a Mitchell Ness hat, and it's the first time they've allowed dual patches. They took the 80s patch and put it in orange, the open star, late 90s. So someone had mentioned my hat. Yeah, that is from Big City Cap Zone. My guy Big E and Steve over there helped me out. But dude, this, like, I don't mean to kick a team while they're down, but this has got to be one of the greatest collapses, Eric. Seriously, this has got to be one of the most catastrophic team collapses we've ever seen. Now, what would be even crazier is if the Rangers somehow get CPR'd back into life and then they end up beating the Mariners and maybe trying to find a way into the playoffs. But I just don't see it right now. I don't see this team recovering from this. I thought it was premature all season long that the Rangers would go to the playoffs this year. And they kept proving me wrong. Every time I was like, okay, well, it's only May, it's only June, it's only July, it's only August. And they kept staying on top. And as long as the Astros take care of business, and one of our viewers tonight said that the Astros do have the easiest strength of schedule this month out of the Mariners and the Rangers and us. So if we take care of business, what the point is, if we take care of business, then you know what? There won't be any problems with us winning the division. If we win the division, we get a rest. And yes, that is the surrender flag that Eric found. Actually, Eric, that was mailed to him from
Bruce Bochy. I had to go wrestle it from him. He was just waving
Bruce
around,
Bochy,
and he was just like,
give me the towel.
Get the heck out of town, Houston Astros. Go back to Houston. We don't want to see you around anymore.
Oh, man. Someone says, Brett, kick them. They would kick us in a heartbeat. Well, we'll never forget in 2017 when Hurricane Harvey hit our city and everybody was suffering, and the Rangers refused to let us play at their home stadium. We had to go all the way to Tampa to play. and they didn't want to give up the home series. They didn't want to give it to us. So you know what, Arlington, ever since 2017, maybe there is a curse, and maybe you brought it on yourself.
Well, Brett, sometimes you just don't know where to go get the right parts for your bullpen. And that's what the Rangers are suffering from. They go out and give up a great starter for Aroldis Chapman, and he turns out to be dog poop. And unfortunately, maybe they didn't go to eBay Pitching Motors to get the right parts for their bullpen. And so maybe if they go eBay Motors, they'll get the job done next time.
That's right. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is its perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure that every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to my garage and look for the green check to know that your part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game. When you shop on eBay Motors with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. And don't forget that the Astros will play the Padres after a day off on Friday in Houston, 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can't watch the game. You can listen to every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
All right. So the Rangers bullpen is the thing that I think is going to keep them out of the playoffs. Just looking at it firsthand, their best pitcher so far has been Austin Hedges, and he has limited them, and he's pitched twice as a position player. But I think that the Rangers also took a big hit today. I never root for injury, so I'm not going to be one that's like, oh yeah, Adolis Garcia, might be
terrible.
out for a while. But Michael Brantley did hit a home run, and he did play in today's game. Contrary to what we talked about yesterday, he did play in the outfield. He did play left field on turf, so the Astros must feel really good about his knees to think that he's doing it. He's okay with that, and it shows that the condition of Alvarez's knees, they're not willing to put him out there.
Yeah, so he goes out there, and that's the first thing I thought when I saw him in the lineup. I was like, see, now I thought Dusty listened to our shows because his lineups sound like the lineups I make. Then I was like, well, maybe Dusty listens because he's like, you know what, Eric? We're going to play Michael Brantley. I don't care what you report, what we said about his knees. I was honestly surprised that he was in left field. And he did have several balls that he was chasing after that he had to run really, really far. Got close to the fence a couple times. I'm like, all right, we're kind of playing with fire out here. This left field is kind of crazy the way it's designed. So he hits a home run, like you mentioned. And then Chas McCormick, everyone's like, where's Chas McCormick? Why isn't he starting? What does he do? He comes in at the end of the game. He goes 1-for-1 with a solo shot. I mean, he added a home run. It's just insane what this team is doing. It's like sharks in the water. It is like Shark Week right now. They just smell blood in the water. Abreu with the 3 hits today, Eric. Abreu, a grand slam, a double, and a 3-run home run today. A grand slam. He scored 7 of the 11 runs were because of Jose Abreu. This guy, we had talked about this, and I've heard rumors, and I've heard people in the media say that he's wearing a back brace. His back isn't in that greatest shape. Heck, his back looked great today. What he's doing now, but he's doing something right. He looked good, and we need him. Can you imagine we have clutch Abreu hitting with runners in scoring position in the playoffs? All bets are off. We're like, okay, competition, here we come.
I mean, it wasn't just that it was a home run, the grand slam. It was a second decker. It was off of Max Scherzer.
Good call.
And so it was also the second home run was 113.3 miles per hour off the bat. It was the hardest hit ball in play this season. This is the first multi-homer game with Houston, and his 7 RBIs ties a career high. So this is most arguably the best game that Jose Abreu has had with the Houston Astros. So can he continue this? Who knows? But we've heard that Dusty Baker has said, give this guy time. I feel like his time is coming. He's about to have a player of the week thing. I'm pretty sure Jose Altuve is going to get that, but it's good to see everybody get into the action. We've seen Martin Maldonado continue the hitting streak. I know that before today, he was batting 253, 303, 506 with 6 home runs and 15 RBIs in the last 26 games. And he had another hit today. So Martin Maldonado has been kind of increasing his production. We've seen Jeremy Pena increase. We've seen Alex Bregman. We've seen everybody kind of pick up. And I'm not going to say it's all because of the return of Michael Brantley, but it's good to see Michael Brantley not only returning, playing in outfield, but also hitting home runs. And that's something you and I talked about. Is he going to be a home run hitter? He's never been a pure home run hitter, but it's good to see him getting the lift on the ball.
I think with the amount of rest he's had, with the caution that they've taken, because, I criticized him for it. I was like, are they bringing him back too fast? What are they doing? I was afraid that it would be a nagging shoulder type injury, and we talked about that at length. But it is good for him it is good to see the ball launching at angles that can take the ball out of the ballpark. Because when you add power to Michael Brantley's game, he becomes even more threatening.
Right.
So think about this, Eric. We've been scrapping all year. This team has been up and down all year. We have been without Altuve, without Alvarez most of the season. We have been without Brantley until recently. Jose Abreu was pretty much a ghost of his former self the first 2.5 months of this season. Now you have Abreu hitting. Pena's been up and down. Pena's finding a stroke. Bregman started off slow. Bregman's hitting. Yordan Alvarez is back in the lineup. He's healthy. Altuve's in the lineup. He's healthy. Kyle Tucker has just continued to rake. I mean, every player in this lineup, top to bottom, Yainer Diaz, Chas McCormick. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 guys that you can't really necessarily depend on when they're at the plate, but this is a force to be reckoned with. And as much as we've said, Dusty, why are you sitting this guy? Dusty, why is this guy getting a rest day? No other team in the league really has as healthy a team as we do right now. And so, he does deserve credit. As much as we criticize him, he deserves a credit. This team has taken all year to get to first place. And you know what? Dusty's at the helm. So you can't just slight the guy for decisions he makes that you don't like and then not give him credit when the team wins. But it's not all because of Dusty. It's not all. It's a collective effort from the top guy to the bottom guy in that clubhouse. And that's where this club beats any other. The clubhouse culture, I think, is second to none. And we're going to see that come out more and more as we get closer to the postseason.
As Todd brings up here, the Astros team OPS was 842 in August. And before today's game, which it probably went up a little bit, was 946. So
wow.
The Astros in September. So the Astros offense has picked up a little bit. Yes, they've played so much better on the road this year. I can't understand it. I don't know if they should just go ahead and wear their road uniforms at home, just have Astros fans scream cheater or something at Minute Park or something like that. But it's just weird. You've never seen, it's only happened 3 times in history where you have a team with a over 100 plus run differential on the road and then a negative run differential at home. And that's where the Astros currently are. So they have a chance this weekend and for this next 6 games, technically, to bring that up. And they have to. The Mariners are snipping at their tails and the Blue Jays are right there too. Well, yeah, we keep on saying, oh yeah, the Blue Jays, they're knocking out the Rangers. They're knocking out the Rangers. But if you don't keep on winning, they're going to be knocking out the Astros too. So you've got to maintain what you're doing. You got to maintain. I don't think they're going to outscore teams 39-10 and hit 16 home runs in a 3-game series. But dang, it's been great to watch.
Yeah, it has. So the Blue Jays. So you have right now, it's Baltimore has got the top seed. Houston would have number 2 seed. Minnesota would have the 3rd seed. Tampa would be 4th. Seattle would be 5th. Toronto would be 6th. Toronto is a game and a half behind Seattle. They are, and then you have Tampa Bay, who is 8 games out of their division lead. So Tampa is going to be the top wild card seed. I don't think they're going to move up. Baltimore's not. Well, Baltimore only has 2 more wins than they do, Eric.
Right.
I think they're +8 on Seattle and Toronto is what that means. So, look, the Astros take care of business. Yep, we got 507. Let's go to 600. Feel like I'm an auctioneer. 500. Do I got 550? Do I have 550? Do I need 550? Hey, I got 550. Do I have 6 cents? Anyway, sorry. Sold to the man in the white shirt. All right. The Houston Astros. Yeah, you're like, what? Look, man, my undiagnosed ADHD is off the charts right now. I'm so pumped for this team. This season has been so tumultuous. This season has been one that builds character, even for the fan base, even for you and even for me, because, I remember Justin Verlander's parents when I met them last year in 2022. They said that Justin learned at a young age, never get too high, never get too low. I have a hard time doing that. I get really excited. I get really upset. I try to be even keel, but I think, Eric, you're more the even keel guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the get pumped, and you're like, chill out, Brett. And I'm like, why are you being a party pooper?
And people think it's the opposite. Like, I get super excited during the podcast. I have all this emotion and everything, but yeah, during the game, I guess I've had experience like in the press booth and everything. So it's just kind of like, yeah, I've got to kind of keep my presence, but I don't get too excited and too depressed over games because I know where the Astros are going to end up. And so if you wonder why I'm not too freaked out about the Astros getting swept by the Yankees, it's one series. And as we can see, the tides can turn just like that. And now it's up for the Astros to just say, okay, which way are we going to go? Are we going to go to this place, or are we going to go to Hooters, where Hooters makes you happy? And that's where the Astros are right now.
Hey, let me tell you, Eric and I were actually at Hooters tonight watching the game, and I took advantage of the buy one, get one wings. And it's not just boneless wings, it's any wings. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not just saying this because they're our sponsor. I got these smoked wings. I haven't had a better wing than I had tonight. Phenomenal flavor. I mean, top shelf wings. Hooters is there to make you happy. They have $3 Blue Moon drafts, $9.99 Michelob Ultra pitchers. No matter the occasion, they're ready to serve you. And starting September 7th, if you're listening to this on Thursday, look, the Astros are off. Thursday Night Football is here. Thursday Night Football karaoke is here at the NASA Hooters, and it's happy hour till close. And every Hooters has happy hour Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and then 10 p.m. to close. And they've got specials all week long. Mondays, they have buy one, get one wings. Tuesdays, $9.99 burgers and fries. Wednesdays, buy one, get one boneless. Thursdays, $19.99 wings and Big Daddy bundle, and so much more. And just know that this Saturday, September 9th, I need y'all to come hang out with us in Baytown Hooters, 5 o'clock pre-game podcast. We'll be giving away Astros tickets, okay? We will also be giving away some bobbleheads, some swag from Hooters, and at 6 o'clock, they have a car show. So come watch the Astros hang out with us and the world-famous Hooters girls. And Friday, if you can't be at the game, you can't watch it, then you need to listen to the Astros play the Padres, 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros. Now, Eric, how many hats are you going to wear in one show? I was
going to wait to see if anybody noticed, but
oh, I'm sorry. Well, is this the third different hat you had on?
Yeah, I've done this a couple of shows and nobody notices. Everybody notices.
Okay, well, hats. I just hey, listen, hit that like button. I don't know how many likes we have, but we have almost 500 in here right now. So smash that like button, please. I would really appreciate it. And guys, we are less than 200 away from 9,000 subscribers. I want to get to 9,000 subscribers. I want to hit 10K before the end of the playoffs get here. Hopefully another World Series title. But thank y'all so much. Look, we got the Padres next. So it doesn't get easy for us this weekend. The Padres are a very good team, Eric. They've been kind of up and down. But with this offense maybe hitting the way it's been hitting the last 3 days, maybe it translates to do some hitting at home. Let's hope we don't see the Astros we saw against the Yankees. That's my only concern going into the weekend.
Right. So the Astros are 80-61 right now. And Justin Verlander had this comment after game. He said, it's time to bring that energy and focus, and you see what these guys are capable of. This is the team that we thought they could be all year. And yes, they've struggled with injuries. They haven't hit as well. And I want to give Michael Brantley all the credit, but he wasn't in the first two games. This is the first game. We thought there was a chance because of the turf out there that he would miss the whole series. But this is just good. This is just an area of like, where has this team been all year? But you have everybody hitting. And it doesn't, I'm not saying that Dusty Baker has the golden touch right now. It was not there during the Yankee series. But during this series, everything went right. And I've watched a lot of baseball over the years, and I might have forgotten who pitched in the 2019 World Series. I apologize for that, for everybody that called me out on that on yesterday's podcast. But definitely, I can't remember a series like this where the Astros dominated another team like they did in this. And they sent a message with this series.
No, it did. And, you mentioned that. I think, Brian McTaggart tweeted that very sentiment. He's like 20 years on the Astros beat, and I haven't seen the Astros embarrass a team the way they did the Rangers. I mean, absolutely demoralizing. One of the cool things this weekend with the Padres is we got Brown going on Friday, Javier on Saturday, and then you have France on Sunday. I can see Yainer Diaz catching 2 of these 3 games. I really hope he gets his opportunity to catch, because he's been catching Brown, he's been catching France. Javier's still probably going to be Maldonado, but this should be a game where Maldonado's start is sandwiched in between 2 Diaz starts, and I think he needs to be in the lineup at least 2 of these 3 games, Eric. These first 3 games, we have 6 games at home, because the offense has been kind of mum at home. And so whatever it is they need to do, study-wise, pitch-wise, look, Blake Snell coming in on Friday night is going to be a tough matchup. He is only 6-6. So, I'm sorry, that's Lugo. My bad. That is not Snell. That's right. Snell is 12-9 with a 2.50 ERA. So it's not an easy matchup, but I don't know much right now off the top of my head about the Padres bullpen. If they can get Snell out of the game early, if they can contain the Padres offense, then I think we can have another series win. Someone asked me, do I think we'll sweep the Padres? I don't want to talk about any sweeps before any series going in, because especially now
New York, especially after Yankees.
New York, look, we know the highs and lows of this team, but Eric, honestly, because we're in the position we're in now, teams are going to be gunning for us even more, because there's other teams that are going to be fighting for their playoff hopes. And there's someone like the Royals or the A's, even though they're not very competitive. What more joy would they get than to take somebody down or bring them down a notch in their playoff standing? So everybody's gunning for you at this point. You're in first place. You're now the hunted. I think they're used to that role, though, Eric. I'm not worried about the role they're playing. I'm just worried about them executing, like Bregman said, at home.
All right, Danny Mac, if you do some weird word that I can actually say, I'll go and put we can do the weird word where we throw something in there in the podcast, but I don't think I could say that word. But I think this series is definitely one where the Padres are not as good as we thought they were, but definitely I think the Astros are playing with confidence. The only thing that concerns me is the fact that they are going back home where they haven't played well, and the day off. The day off is always the kind of it's kind of a what's the hotness killer, where it's just, what's the word I can't think of right now?
Momentum killer.
And it's just like
you're like hotness killer.
Day off. I couldn't think of it.
It's just a day off. Yeah, it's just like basically you have momentum. You come off a big series. You got a lot of emotion. Got a lot of adrenaline. A day off, it kind of lets the wind out of your sails. Then it's hard to pick up after that. Yeah. Look, you know what though, Eric? I think after what happened with the Yankees, I'm not as afraid of that happening this time around, to be honest with you. Just because they don't want to come away from a series like that again. That was actually kind of embarrassing, the way the Astros got beat by the Yankees at home. That wasn't fun. And afterwards, I think they're like, this can happen again. So
Yeah.
I really doubt that we see another lack of offensive performance like that again from the Astros the rest of the year at home. I just think they're going to turn things around better.
And we have seen some pretty embarrassing games versus the Padres at home. I was at one of them, and it was.
I've been there. I don't like watching Fernando Tatis hit at Minute Maid Park because he can crush the ball. Juan Soto can crush the ball. Manny Machado. Look, they've got it. They've got a good lineup. This Padres team is a very good team, and they're always competitive, especially when they play the Astros. But as of right now, they're not even in the mix for the playoffs. So
Right.
they're not.
It's Diamondbacks and Dodgers, and are the Giants still hanging around?
So you have the top 3 wild card spots are the Phillies, the Cubs, and the Marlins. The Diamondbacks and the Reds are both tied with it. They're both a half game out of the 3rd spot. San Francisco's 2.5. San Diego's 468 at 7 games out of the last wild card spot. They are low. They're there, but this team can still hit. They still have professional hitters. They still have Blake Snell going Friday night. The Astros are going to attack this team the way they attack every game. They're not going into it lightly. But this Rangers team, Eric, the way they didn't show up offensively, this is one of the most powerful. This is one of the highest scoring teams all season long. And we completely obliterated them. Like if this was soccer, they would be relegated. They would be knocked out of the top league. They would be knocked down to a sub league. They'd be a G League team in the NBA. I mean, that's how bad it was. So, wow, man, I guess there's always next year, Arlington.
Hey, by the way, Chas McCormick got into the lineup today. I mean, it did take 4 at-bats.
I talked about that, yeah.
Let me talk, man. But
go ahead.
It took 4 at-bats by Brantley to get him in the game in the 7th inning. But we saw Chas McCormick in the actually get a bat, and he got a hit. And so it's always good to see him in the batting line and just to get a bat every once in a while. But hopefully we see a lot more of him because he is the offense that we need. I know we saw some good play out there by Dubon, but we need to see more McCormick like we've been talking about, and it's just good to see Diaz out there. But if we see a lot more games like Jose Abreu did today, I don't think you're going to be seeing Diaz playing first base. So let's just bring everything that happened here. Let's go and bring that home versus the Padres, and everything's going to be okay. Let's get some closing thoughts.
Exactly. So closing thoughts. So make sure y'all come hang out with us Saturday at Baytown area Hooters. There is going to be an address put up on all our social media stuff tonight, starting tomorrow as well. And listen, Sunday, Abreu on the northwest side of town in Champions Forest. Yainer Diaz is going to be there, signing autographs from 7 to 8. We're going to be there. Locked On Astros is going to be there. Y'all come hang out with us. Come meet Yainer Diaz. Get his autograph. Talk to him. It's going to be fun hanging out. Us, Abreu, and Yainer Diaz. We've kind of partnered up with them. I got that planned out today. So come hang out with us, and maybe you'll get on camera and come meet us too. So y'all have a good one. Thank y'all for hanging out. We will, look, man, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make us your first listen every single day.
All right, and the player game has got to go to Jose Abreu with what he did. So my name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey. We are the Locked On Astros podcast, and Go Astros will be back tomorrow to take a deeper look into the series versus the Padres. And Go Astros.